My name is Ilvin Shruti and I'm a civil engineer. I've been living in New York City since 1999, so about 20 years. I sold my last apartment because it was a one-bedroom and we were expecting a baby, so we needed something a little bit bigger with a backyard. Housit basically did all of the work that needed to be done. I felt that I could honestly sell the apartment better on my own because I knew the apartment better. It was do-it-yourself for a much cheaper price, so I felt it was a win-win all around. Basically went through Google, tried to find a service that was a flat fee service, and Housit seemed to fit my bill. Commission rates in New York City were on the cheap end 4% and 6% to 7% on the higher end. I felt that they were a little high considering the cost of housing in New York City. I felt that for the price that houses cost in New York City, an apartment cost $600,000-$700,000. A small percentage of that, what realtors were charging was anywhere close to $30,000 for basically taking a couple of photographs and advertising your place. I took the photographs on my own. It was fairly simple. I tried to sell the apartment on my own for about 2-3 weeks. I tried to do the FSBO option, the for sale by owner, and I felt that I was having a bit of a difficult time because a lot of agents just weren't calling. I was getting a lot of phone calls from agents seeking a listing, and honestly it got really annoying. I was getting 10 to 15 calls a day for people seeking to list my apartment when I clearly wrote, please do not contact me. Eventually I started looking for something that would put me on the MLS and on the real estate board of New York as well, so it would give me more exposure, and this way I could also control the commission structure, the commission that I was willing to give up. My property was marketed on basically all of the major applications on website, StreetEasy, Zillow, Realtor. I noticed the difference right away when I listed it with Housit. I was receiving 5, 6, 7 phone calls a day. It just snowballed after that, especially after a couple of open houses. I had 2 properties, one of which was mine. One of the other properties was my parents. My apartment was a 1-bedroom condominium in Astoria. My parents lived around the block. It was a 2-bedroom condominium. For my property, I had it listed for approximately 2 to 3 weeks as a for sale by owner. I was having a bit of a difficult time. I wasn't getting many phone calls. I listed it through Housit basically as a trial to see if it was a shot in the dark. It was a service that I wasn't familiar with, and I was willing to pay the small fee to take a risk. I started getting a ton of phone calls immediately. I wanted to basically test it out with my apartment. After I saw the exposure that my apartment got, I knew for a fact that my parents' apartment would sell much easier because it was a 2-bedroom and there was only 2 or 3 in the area and as condos. The rest were co-op. I listed my parents' apartment about a month after I listed mine, and my parents' apartment sold in the second day. We basically had 2 or 3 people come in and one made an offer and we took it. After I listed my apartment with Housit, dynamics completely changed. I wasn't receiving any more phone calls from realtors looking to get the listing. If some did call, it's because they were still seeing a for sale by owner property that I had previously. Since it's illegal for them to solicit a listing, it was pretty easy for me to just tell them, hey, I'm working with somebody now, please don't call me anymore unless you have a client ready to purchase the apartment. So after that, the harassment phone calls stopped. No more realtors looking for a listing. It was more like, hey, we have somebody that's interested in your place, when are you free? It was very simple because the realtor that was selected through Housit as well was very responsive. He responded to emails like pretty much around the clock. Very polite, very professional. My favorite part of the experience with Housit was the easiness. It was exactly what I was looking for. It was I didn't want to give up 6% of the sale price of the apartment. I was willing to give away a small fee, 2%, 1%, but I wasn't looking to pay 5-6% for selling my apartment. And honestly, I kind of enjoyed selling the apartment on my own rather than having someone else sell it for me. Granted, I had time. I enjoyed taking the photographs myself with my wife, basically filling out the description the way I wanted to. I felt I was better suited to sell the apartment than a lot of the realtors. I already have recommended Housit to a friend. About a month ago, a friend of mine called me. He didn't want to use a realtor either. He was doing his own research, but he basically picked my brain and said, what did you do? I gave him Housit. I told him, there's nothing to lose. Try it out. It worked for me really well. Called me a week later. He said, I got a cash buyer. Now he's in the process of selling his place. and he was very happy with the process as well. I'm sure he will be using you guys in the future and referring you guys to additional possible clients as well.